In confronting Russian aggression, Biden forgets he is the problem. Joe Biden calls on American leadership to confront Russian authoritarianism that he claims threatens American democracy, but every problem between the two has its roots in U.S. actions Biden once supported. Physician, heal thyself. America is back. America is back. Diplomacy is back at the center of our foreign policy. We have a pandemic and we have a crippling economy, and you want to go to war. With the resounding words as his starting point, President Joe Biden gave first major foreign policy address, symbolically delivering at the State Department headquarters. The Secretary of State Anthony Blinken in attendance. His message was of rebirth and hope. As I said in my inaugural address, Biden noted we will repair our alliances, engage with the world once again, not to meet yesterday's challenges, but today's and tomorrow's. Biden's speech covered a wide range of topics ranging from COVID-19 pandemic to climate change, from the Middle East to LGBTQ rights. He waxed eloquently about the nexus between democracy and progress. Defending freedom, championing opportunity, upholding universal rights, respecting the rule of law, and treating every person with dignity, Biden said. That's grounding wire of our global policy, our global power. That's our inexhaustible source of strength. That's America's binding advantage. Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, we're going to be going to war. But in Biden's world, the road towards America's reemergence as the global shining city on a hill that inspires all who gaze upon it, strewn with obstacles put in place by those nations who oppose Biden's mid-whiffing of American exceptionalism. Newton's third law of physics, wherever action has an equal and opposite reaction, applies to geopolitics as well as science. This means that American democracy will be opposed by the forces of authoritarianism. To confront this, Biden notes American leadership must meet the new movement of advancing authoritarianism, including the determination of Russia damage and disrupt our democracy. Biden reiterated the points he made to Russian President Vladimir Putin during their phone call of January 26, whereas he made it clear to President Putin in a manner very different from my predecessor that the days of the United States rolling over in the face of Russia's aggressive actions, interfering with our elections, cyber attacks, poisoning its citizens are over. Biden's shop list of alleged Russian sins is an interesting one, given that none of the three delineated actions has been substantiated as fact. Chris Krebs, who headed up the U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, publicly declared that the November 3rd election was the most secure in American history. This comment wasn't made lightly, Krebs noted, but rather was derived from 3.5 years of gaming out every possible scenario for how a foreign actor could interfere with an election. While a joint statement from FBI, NSA, Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, and Office of the Director of National Intelligence has declared that the SolarWinds cyber attack can be attributed to an advanced persistent threat, APT, actor, likely Russian in origin. Major cybersecurity companies such as FireEye, who first detected the SolarWinds intrusion, were more circumspect. We are not attributing to a sponsor at this time, Benjamin Reed, FireEye's Director of Threat Intelligence, said. We don't have sufficient evidence to support naming a specific sponsor. Biden's reference to poisoning its citizens is an odd observation to make when defining threats to American democracy, given that it most likely refers to the allegations that the Russia opposition figure, Alexei Navalny, was poisoned by Russian security officers using the deadly chemical agent Novichok. Unless Biden is postulating constructive connectivity between the U.S. and Russian political opposition, none exists. Such linkage is nonsensical. Moreover, the allegations of poisoning have not been substantiated by anything remotely resembling fact. Indeed, Russia has been refused access to the laboratory results underpinning the claims that Navalny was poisoned, rather than serving to illustrate the example of Russian attack on U.S. democracy, as alleged by Biden. The Navalny affair better illustrates the opposite the ongoing attack on Russia democracy by the United States. The reality is that the future of U.S.-Russian diplomatic interaction will not be defined by false claims regarding Russia election interference, unsubstantiated allegations regarding SolarWinds cyber attack, or the Russian domestic drama surrounding Alexei Navalny. Rather, the U.S.-Russian dance card will be filled trying to resolve current hot topics such as Syria and Libya, Ukraine and the Baltics, and the role played by nuclear weapons in defining the nature and degree of conflict that can be expected in any practical application of Biden's new anti-rolling over doctrine. Whose aggression? The problem facing Biden, and to a large extent his Secretary of State Antony Blinken, is that the world situation as it exists today regarding U.S.-Russian diplomatic frictions is not defined by any U.S. accession to Russian aggression, rollover, but by Russian reaction to U.S.-led aggression. Here, the geopolitical corollary of Newton's third law applies in full effect. It was the U.S.-led NATO intervention in Libya in 2011 to overthrow Muammar Gaddafi that has led to the current level of chaos and unrest there. Russia's involvement is merely the logical extension of a nation defending its national interest in light of the unpredictability brought on by resulting power vacuum. Likewise, the Russian intervention in Syria 2015 only happened after the U.S. conducted a covert war against Syrian President Bashar al-Assad that began in 2011. Cause and effect analysis clearly places responsibility for originating actions that led to the conflict in both Libya and Syria on the United States, and in particularly the administration of Barack Obama, where both Blinken and Biden served. Likewise, any analysis of the current crisis in Ukraine and the resulting expansions of tensions between Russia and NATO in Eastern Europe shows that the initiating point was not reached as a result of Russia's intervention in Crimea, but rather as part and parcel of the U.S.-led expansion in NATO eastward. It was a U.S. orchestrated coup in Ukraine in 2014 that triggered Russia's actions regarding Crimea. Again, these policies occurred during the Obama administration at a time when Joe Biden was heading up its Ukraine policy. Let's not forget, Joe Biden has some ties with the Ukraine, including with his son Hunter Biden. Okay, Ukraine was, what I mean by that, Ukraine was broke, and Biden bribed him to get his son off the hook because Hunter Biden was being prosecuted by a Ukrainian lawyer, and Biden bribed the Ukrainian government to have that lawyer fired. Bribed him with millions of dollars. At the time, the U.S. could have used that money, but Biden used that to bribe the Ukrainian government to fire a Ukrainian lawyer because his son was in the hot seat for things he should not be doing. While Biden touts the success of the extension of the New START treaty in order to safeguard nuclear stability by preserving the last remaining treaty between the U.S. and Russia, the fact is that the arms race that is being held in check by the extension of the New START has as its roots the American commitment to a global missile defense system that Russia, rightly so, believes exists for the purpose of targeting Russian missiles. While the current standoff regarding missile defense dates back to the decision by the administration of George W. Bush in 2001 to withdraw from the landmark 1972 Anti-Ballistic Missile ABM Treaty, that action has been exacerbated by the deceitful manipulation by the Obama-Biden administration of the Russian domestic politics, where Obama held out the promise of flexibility on the issue of missile defense to then President Dmitry Medvedev. But Obama's promise was not only contingent upon his winning a re-election, but also on Medvedev staying on as a Russian president. Putin's return to office in 2012 ended Obama's pretense on flexibility. The result is a Russian buildup of its strategic nuclear capability designed to overcome U.S. missile defense. History is a demanding mistress, and it will be interesting to see how Biden overcomes the uncomfortable reality that present conflicts he accuses his predecessor of rolling over for in the face of Russian aggression are really problems of his own making. When it comes to diagnosing the disease that is undermining American democracy at home, and by extension, American authority abroad, Biden would do well to look in the mirror and put into action The biblical proverb contained in Luke chapter 4, verse 23, medicine, cura et ipsum, physician, heal thyself. There you have it, people. There you have it. Like I said, this is going to be some interesting 4 years. Very interesting. Because it looks like he is going to try and get a war going. That's what looks like it's going to be happening. I told you, it's like Biden is Obama 2.0. If you like the content, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Later.